Hi, everybody. Rabbi Rosen here, hoping all is well with you, that you've endured the first snow of the season well, and that you had a very bright and wonderful Hanukkah. Speaking of Hanukkah, which is now concluded, we find ourselves moving from a time of national celebration, the idea of the Jewish people and others by extension enjoying religious liberty, to a very deeply human and universal experience that we find in the Torah portion of this week, the portion of Miketz. It centers around Joseph and his brothers. Joseph is in charge of distributing food that has been saved up during years of plenty to those who are in need, both within Egypt and those who might be visiting from abroad. And one of the caravan of visitors turns out to be his long-lost brothers, the brothers who sold him into slavery, who clearly wished him ill years before. Joseph is torn. He is certainly motivated by the impulse to exact revenge, and he toys with his brothers. He replaces the money that they had brought to pay for grain. He puts that money back in their saddlebags. He calls them spies. He takes his silver goblet and puts it in the saddlebag of Benjamin. But at the same time, he is also clearly moved by the experience of hearing about his father, about his youngest brother, Benjamin. What is he to do? At one point, he runs away. He goes to a different room and cries, because even back then, it was really forbidden, it seems, for a man to be seen crying in public, still to this day. That idea reigns supreme in many places. But the key line for understanding what this is truly all about, I think, appears in one passage. The verse reads that Joseph recognized his brothers, but they did not recognize him. The operative Hebrew word here for recognize is vayit naker. It's a word that also can mean that he made himself a stranger to his brothers, and he even made himself a stranger to himself. And you have to wonder sometimes of what might happen were we not so driven to be strangers to others and strangers to ourselves, if we could be just a little bit more vulnerable, a little bit more open about our doubts, about our weaknesses, about the things that frighten us in life, and to share them with others, especially those closest to ourselves, you might begin to see how deeply understanding other people are and how wonderful the relationships can be when we allow ourselves to be just that, have that kind of weakness and have that kind of vulnerability. As the songwriter Graham Nash once said, "Grow a little smaller, and in stature you will rise." When we allow ourselves to be who we are in all of our glory and in all of our challenges, it's precisely then that wonderful things can indeed happen. And I hope that might happen to all of us. Shabbat Shalom, and all the best, especially as winter descends.